Today on Sports Central, we go over a college football game preview and prediction on the Week 3 matchup between the Virginia Tech Hokies and the West Virginia Mountaineers. Big matchup coming up here in Week 3. We have Virginia Tech on one side. This team is still riding their huge win that they had over North Carolina back in Week 1, and they're currently ranked in a pretty good position heading into Week 3. As for West Virginia, this is a West Virginia team that has also got plenty of talent, and I definitely think this is a West Virginia team that could definitely cause some damage in the Big 12 this 2021 season. So that being said, big matchup here. Two pretty talented teams going head-to-head in Week 3. We'll be going over a full game preview and prediction on this matchup here today, starting out with your team trends. Last week, Virginia Tech beat Middle Tennessee State 35-14, and they are 2-0 heading into this matchup, and they're also ranked 15th in the nation, so they're knocking on the door of the top 10. I mean, they've cracked the top 15, and this team is only going up from here right now. They did beat North Carolina, though, in Week 1. That's the big win that this team had so far this season, which is a pretty big upset. I mean, they played very well against an extremely talented North Carolina offense. So, I mean, this defense for Virginia Tech is for real. As for West Virginia, they beat Long Island 66-0, as they should have. That should have been a pretty easy matchup, and it definitely was for West Virginia. They are 1-1. They did lose to Maryland in Week 1. Pretty unfortunate loss. It was a very close matchup, but in the end, we saw West Virginia take a loss. But either way, I mean, both teams are still looking very good heading into this matchup, and really, it's also going to help that West Virginia is at home. I mean, the Mountaineers, when they got a full stadium, are a pretty tough team to beat. So definitely keep an eye on that moving forward. Game will be on Saturday, September 18th. Morgantown, West Virginia. Mountaineers are the home team. It'll be at noon Eastern time. Spread currently has West Virginia by 3. Over-unders 50.5. And the FPI is going with Virginia Tech 57.5. And once again, this is also a rare occurrence of a disagreement between the spread and the FPI. Usually the spread and the FPI agree with each other, but they're significantly disagreeing for this matchup. Virginia Tech is favored by 57%. I mean, that's not really even that close of a percentage. So it's pretty interesting seeing that happen here. But of course, West Virginia being at home, I'm sure has some influence in the spread favoring the Mountaineers here. Series history, West Virginia leads at 28-23. Win streak is the Hokies by 3, and the last game was in 2017. So we've seen these teams regularly play each other over the past couple of decades. But yeah, once again, West Virginia is ahead on the spread by 3, and your FPI is going with Virginia Tech in this matchup. Stat comparison for this game, Virginia Tech's got 26 points per game on average, 12 points allowed per game so far this season. They got 164 pass yards, 175 rush yards, then for yards allowed, 245 passing, 106 rushing. As for West Virginia, they got 45 points per game, 15 points allowed, so offensively, West Virginia's looked pretty good. They got 310 pass yards, 123 rush yards on average per game, and then for yards allowed, 196 rushing, or 196 passing, and then 99 rush yards allowed per game. As for some key points for this one, obviously Virginia Tech is 2-0, West Virginia is 1-1. Solid start for the Hokies, that's for sure. I mean, this team, to beat North Carolina, that was a very hyped up matchup, and Virginia Tech played outstanding there in that game. They had the big win against North Carolina in Week 1, and defense is really where this team is strong right now. Braxton Burmeister has played pretty well so far for Virginia Tech, and this offense is pretty good as well, but defensively is really what stood out to me so far for Virginia Tech. I think they only allowed, 10 points against North Carolina in Week 1. Sam Howell was a very talented quarterback, and that's a very talented football team in North Carolina that they beat in Week 1, and they only shut them down to 10 points. So, yeah, Virginia Tech is very strong defensively, and that's going to be the main challenge for West Virginia. They lost to Maryland in Week 1. This team really is not playing to the level that they can. And really, if you look at the returning production that West Virginia had from 2020 to 2021, there's a ton of talent here on this West Virginia team and a ton of potential there as well. And, they haven't really, in Week 1 especially, we didn't really get to see that. But Jarrett Dahey, he's got a lot of potential as a quarterback. And I think in general, West Virginia, this is a team that can be a contender in the Big 12 this 2021 season. It's just a matter of time until we see that. But they've also got the home field advantage. Don't forget about that in this matchup. But that being said, let's get to the prediction for Virginia Tech and West Virginia. I'm going with a low-scoring matchup. I think we see this game be very close throughout, but I'm going to go with the Mountaineers here, 24-17. Another really tough game to predict. We've got a lot of games in Week 3 that are Definitely going to be close ones and potentially could easily go either side. And I mean, this is definitely one of them. Virginia Tech could easily win this matchup, but I think West Virginia comes to play, and they're going to be the home team in this matchup. And I think Virginia Tech doesn't have quite as much fortune as they did in week 1. And I think West Virginia gets the win 24-17. Probability West Virginia 55%. So once again, I'm pretty cautious about picking the Mountaineers here. I mean, I could easily see the Hokies getting the win without a doubt. I mean, Virginia Tech is a very talented football team as well, and we've seen that over the past couple of weeks. So definitely keep an eye on that. But over/under is 50.5. So I am taking the under on this matchup at 41 points. But once again, I'm going with the Mountaineers here, 24-17. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, though, on this matchup, and I appreciate you guys all watching. Stay tuned for more from All Sports Central. I'll see you later.